I work for Diakonia, Kenya and Uganda. And for those who don't know about Diakonia, we are an international development organization. We also identify ourselves as faith-based organization, founded back in Sweden. And we work in the 4 regions of the world: Africa, MENA, Latin America, and Asia. And in Kenya, we work with civil society organizations. I know most of the time we are approached by government entities to support them or to partner with government. We don't do that. We work through the civil society organizations, which in turn now work with the government departments or directorates. And that's how we partner with LRF and others who are in the room. I see IMLU and many other civil societies organizations in Kenya who are not here. I think I relate with LRF both as an alumna and a partner, because I worked with LRF for 8 years, and that's where my career in the civil society began. And so I'm very proud to be associated with LRF. And then, of course, after that, I moved and then came back to join Diakonia. And as a result of that, I worked directly with the Legal Resources Foundation, managing the grant to LRF for another 8 years. And so I know in and out of LRF in terms of the work, in terms of where you implement the work, and also even institutionally, even the changes that happen there and everything that happen within LRF, I associate with it. 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, I stopped managing the grant directory, and I assumed another role in Diakonia. But even with that, I still engage with LRF closely. So I think they are one of our partners, not one, I can see him here and they are going to ask why I made that statement. But this LRF is one of those organizations that even when I'm asleep and I'm asked about Legal Resources Foundation, I can narrate from the strategy, from everything. And so I'm happy to be here during the launch of this new strategic plan. For us as Diakonia, that journey has been great. I think I would say out of maybe 30, I think I've had about 30 years since 2003. And out of those 30 years, I can say that Diakonia, we've partnered with LRF for about 15 or 17 years. And so for us, we are committed to long-term partnerships. I know people ask when we say long-term partnership, they ask questions around sustainability and when we can leave that partner. But I understand the Kenyan context very well in terms of access to justice and many other things, including human rights in general. And for us to continue, we know there are many issues that affect this country. So we can't say that we are going to fund an organization maybe for 2 years, 5 years, and then leave because they are now sustainable. There are still issues. There are still context issues that need to be addressed. And so for us as Diakonia, we say long-term partnerships that are making sense, that are contributing to change, and we are committed to that. On this strategy, I think we are already into it in terms of support as Diakonia. Last year, when we did a partnership assessment, we usually, when there is a new grant, we do partnership assessment again. And so last year, in 2025, I sat at Legal Resources Foundation offices with my team to assess. And I was very worried that one of the things that, as Diakonia was saying, that for partners that we are aware of and we've worked with them, and we are very confident, we need to transition them to co-funding. We all know what co-funding means to organizations. And so for many years, we've been on project funding for Legal Resources Foundation. So when we did the partnership assessment, one of the prerequisites or key things that need to be there is a strategy. Conversation with LRF, and unfortunately, the strategy plan was not ready. And as a country director, I needed to make a decision whether we need to qualify or transition a Legal Resources Foundation to co-funding. So we had conversation with our staff and we're like, no, let's retain them because our policies or our guidance from head office, there must be a strategy. So at that point, I had to convince even our head office that LRF need to go to co-funding, and we sought a commitment from SAO and the team whether the strategy will be ready in the next few months, and it has taken time. So 2 weeks ago, my colleagues came back to me and said, you made that decision and the strategy is not ready. What do we do? And we need to disburse the second tranche. And one of the things we had committed is by the time we are doing that, the strategy has to be ready. So they said, I'm going to engage SAO and get to see where the strategy is, or the strategic plan is. And just before I did that, I got an invitation to this launch. So I'm proud to say that I'm going to give feedback to my team that the strategic plan is here and it's not longer a risk for us, and we are going to continue with partnership. So in a nutshell, it's to say that we are already supporting because that conversation was there. And when we did the partnership assessment, we had an idea where LRF is going in terms of the next 5 years. And so I am proud that we are launching this strategic plan today. And on behalf of Diakonia, we are very committed to working with LRF towards the implementation of this strategy if the resources continue to be available. I know who talked about the context we are in terms of reduced funding for civil society organizations. We are trying as much to raise resources from all angles, and we make that commitment that we will journey with LRF. I don't think the 17 or 15 years thereabout will end now. We are aware the work that you do is very essential to especially the right holders that we hold dear in our heart as Diakonia. And so this afternoon I make that commitment and continued support towards implementation of this strategy. Wow. Congratulations on the launch of the new strategy, LRF and the team.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's appreciate her once again. Wow, amazing. For 17 years journeying together with us, and they're still committing to continue journeying with us. Long-term partnerships are going to be quite valuable as we move forward. So through our chair and the ED, we have a duty to sustain such collaborations. And now that the document is here with us, I think we'll just hit the ground running effective immediately. So our chief guest at this particular point, allow me to invite Madam Julie Matheka from Open Societies, who is going to close that window of speeches from our development partners. Madam Julie, karibu sana, tumpigie makofi anapojongea. Asante sana, makofi mazito. Thank you so much. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Allow me to ride on the already established protocols. On behalf of the Open Society Foundations, it's an honor to join you in celebrating the launch of the Legal Resources Foundation Strategic Plan 2026-2030. In my personal capacity, I have known LRF for the last 13 years, and I can attest to the strength, vibrancy, and dedication of the institution to its mission, Haki Tawale. The Open Society Foundations, for those who do not know, are the world's largest private funders of I think it's working now. Are the world's largest private funders of independent groups working for rights, equity, and justice. Our mission is of societies where rights are respected, governments are held accountable, and people can participate equally in shaping their futures. Our mission is to support individuals, communities, and institutions working to build a more just, equitable society. The Legal Resources Foundation has been a long critical partner in bringing this vision to life. The partnership record, from what I've seen, is from around 2009. The Open Society Foundations has been working with LRF for that long, with millions of investment. I don't want to say how much, but a lot has really been given by the Open Society Foundations towards the sustainability of LRF, and we can see the fantastic results. So today marks more than an unveiling of a new strategy. It represents a renewed commitment to advancing access to justice, administration of justice, and institutional stability, which is critical in this area. We are very deliberate about combating issues around barriers in justice and equality, and this plan offers a clear and ambitious roadmap to empowering citizens, strengthening institutions, and advancing meaningful social change. We are particularly encouraged by LRF's commitment to people-centered approaches. This is a key strategy for us, and we are deeply committed and invested in looking at people-centered approaches in our various works, be it democracy, governance, security, and rights. So the people-centered approach is a critical approach that we are taking in all our programming globally. So this strategy aligns with our work. As we celebrate this key milestone, we recognize that the journey ahead requires courage, innovation, and collective action. We commit to continue working alongside the Legal Resources Foundation and other partners, some of whom are in the room who work with us through the various things that they do, to advance a future where justice is accessible, rights are respected, and individuals live with dignity. On behalf of the Open Society Foundations and on my own behalf, I really do congratulate you for the launch of this important strategy, and we wish you the very best in translating the vision into lasting impact for the next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again. Let's appreciate it in a better way. Thank you so much. Thank you. Asante sana. Asante sana. Again, the power of long-term relationships. We are maintaining very good relationships with our traditional partners. Let's sustain that momentum. At this particular point, our chief guest, allow me to recognize the presence of Madam Evelyn Kikuyu, who is representing UNODC. Let's appreciate her. Thank you so much for that. And then I invite Madam Grace Wangeshi, who is the Executive Director of IMLU. Let's appreciate Madam Wangeshi as she comes. She begins the chapter on the CSOs that are part of our ecosystem. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, thank you. Allow me to stand on the existing protocol that has been established. On behalf of IMLU and on the behalf of the Police Reforms Working Group that IMLU convenes, and as a member of the Prisons Reforms Working Group, as well as Civic Freedoms Forum, these are spaces that a lot of us gather as leaders, as technical staff of organizations that work around human rights governance and the rule of law, of which the Legal Resources Foundation is a member of. So I'm speaking on the behalf of all of them. And just to say that it's an exciting day. One, to reflect on justice. That justice has been elusive for those of us who work directly with communities, with survivors. We do know the pain of access to justice for them, that they struggle on the corridors of justice, that they struggle in their homes and communities. But this institution, the Legal Resources Foundation, has been able to meet them at their different points of need. Whether it's at community level, working through the different structures that we heard about in the morning, or through support, or even contributing to the policy and legal framework. And so the mission around justice for vulnerable and marginalized communities is critical given the disproportionate forms of abuse, violations, and discriminations that we see. And so this is a very timely launch. And given the season we are at and in as a country, we note that LRF plays a critical role in the spaces that I've mentioned, not just in enhancing access to justice, not just in contributing to the legal and policy framework, but touching lives directly. You are a trusted professional partner, and I'm glad that we're witnessing this milestone today. Our message to you is that we note very keenly the third objective on institutional sustainability. Indeed, as a sector, this is an area we're all struggling in. And sometimes last year, we did convene ourselves and began thinking through financial resilience, using and focusing on local opportunities so that we fill in the gap, because depending on donor funds, as has been said, here is going to be very, very difficult. So I welcome us all to walk this journey of working together, thinking local solutions, acting bigger, better, together for the people of Kenya. An unidentified author once said that collaboration is a secret source of global success. We are hoping that we can work together to contribute towards global success. Pamoja in solidarity, congratulations, our dear, is it a brother, a sister, or we share very many spaces, and I'm really glad that we are able to celebrate one of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Wangeshi. Very powerful, and thank you for coming. Thank you so much. We don't take it for granted that you're here. I love this statement, focusing on global opportunities. Remember the exercise we were engaging in? You remember how it was very elusive? Yeah, the person you're trying to grab their finger are also trying to survive. So it's a very tricky balance, powerful arrangement there. Collaboration is a secret source of global success. We'll continue working on all this. Our chief guest at this particular point, allow me to invite Mr. Joshua Changwani, who is Executive Director of CRECO, and he'll also stand in for Mr. Mule from ELOG. Joshua, talk to us about the Canaan dream. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much. This is a very interesting responsibility I've been given this afternoon, especially speaking after partners who have made commitments here. Allow me to start by congratulating the LRF staff, board, as well as also their membership for realizing this after 33 years since establishment. CRECO is known to LRF. Myself, I've known LRF for the last 20 years, and it is good to mention and recognize that Irene and I were program officers in that era of 20 years when she was in LRF, and I can confirm that. So I'm also an alumni of LRF. So when the video was played, the one that was prepared by Diana, I saw a section on an award from CRECO to LRF, and I think that was 2013, and I was telling Dr. Wanjiku that this is us, and I would connect to that. So LRF is an achievers of CRECO Awards, and is also a mentor to us in the sector, especially on institutional sustainability. Your Flamingo Towers investment is something that we study from time to time on how LRF achieved that. And we say congratulations for that. Now, the presentation on their strategic plan did mention Vision 2030, as well as also the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And I think it was 2 days ago when the national conversation on Beyond Vision 2030 started. There was a launch in the KICC by the President of our Republic, and I think also LRF now joins that conversation towards, beyond 2030 in our Republic, and of course from a justice perspective. We did register to say you cannot have a national strategy on development when Kenyans are unsafe, when Kenyans do not realize justice, when there is unfairness in our society. And I think for Professor Hino from Japan, who was an advisor to the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga, was also one of the key speakers and did mention to say that Kenya has a resource in the people, as well as also the hardworking nature of the people of Kenya. And hard work can easily even be jeopardized by unfairness, as well as also injustice. So thanks so much, LRF, for being a contributor of justice in our country as we begin the conversation beyond Vision 2030 in our Republic. Now, allow me conclude, because it's been mentioned that I also represent the Elections Observation Group, where I sit at the steering committee level, and the national coordinator was also here in the morning, and because of other engagement, he left, and he would have also made some remarks, because LRF is also a member of ELOC, and we do recognize that. 2027 is an election year. In 2022, we saw a lot of disputes emanating from the outcome of the political party nominations as well as also the general elections. 2027 is characterized as an election that is synonymous to 2007, 2017, because we have incumbency seeking re-election, both at the governor level and at the presidential level. So the stakes will be very high, and we expect a lot of disputes. So LRF will be a strategic partner in terms of also providing guidance to the public on alternative dispute resolution mechanisms as opposed to going to the court system, because things will be moving very fast as we approach 2027 general elections. So we value your strategic membership in networks such as Elections Observation Group, Uchaguzi, Vote Peace, and I think one of your areas is on ethical governance. And I think that is the conversation we are talking about when we are approaching 2027 elections. Allow me to conclude by saying that, and assuring also the partners of LRF, that LRF is a strategic partner of us in the space. And also, I concur with my colleague Wangeshi, the executive director of IMULU, who has said that we value LRF. Your support and trust is felt across the sectors, especially the leadership of civil society. Esau, your name is in the Bible. And reflecting on my Sunday school teaching, Esau means a doer, someone who believes in action. So I believe this strategy is not a strategy in abstract, but is also being put under the hands of a doer. So with that, I say, Comrade Esau, please continue being a best leader in our sector, and we shall support you. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Sir Joshua. Let's appreciate him in a better way. Very powerful. My key takeaway so far, when you talk about institutional stability, a key component here is what we call friend raising. Before we fundraise, are we harnessing the power of friends? This is the first time I'm hearing about alumni coming back to help the institutions. Most of us, when we exit, we burn all the bridges. Isn't that not so? So seeing all of you here, meaning well for your organization, that's really powerful. Joshua, Madam Wangeshi, let's appreciate them once again. He has talked to us about something that is very crucial, electoral preparedness. Especially, there's a lot of tension. Already the early warning systems in place, so we are well positioned to work on this. Our chief guest, allow me to invite our last speaker for this session, Madam Sylvia Yaintet, who is also an alumni of LRF. Let's appreciate Sylvia. Sylvia, karibu sana. Today, it's so powerful having all of you here. Karibu, karibu.
Thank you very much. I'm Jambo. I hope I'm audible. I'm very, very, very happy to be back home. Niko nyumbani. I'm back home. So this is a very proud moment for me. I worked with LRF, I think 7 years ago, and I can tell you for a fact it was quite transformational. It is where my capacity was built. I was stretched and exposed to very many things that I now use in my current work. Just to honor the board chair, Professor, very happy to see you and your board members. I think I worked closely then with Madam Alice and Commissioner Tirop. Asanteni sana for the mentorship that you gave us. And to also honor the Secretariat. I think having sat where they sat, I am very proud of you and I'm very proudly associated with you guys. I'll be very brief and before I forget, I also want to honor the council members present. I work for NCAJ, so I'd like to honor our chief guest, who is also an NCAJ council member. I'd also want to honor Mr. Has he left? The gentleman from Cradle, Michael. There's one more person from, and Mr. Esau, of course. And Esau, because I knew there were three. So just to honor our council members. At the NCAJ, we really, really value the partnership we have with LRF. They sit at our NCAJ council, and they are very critical members, and they bring a very important voice at the NCAJ council. I want to speak to a few things that I have observed over the years, and part of it is around the innovation that LRF has stood for over the years, and I'm very happy to see the continuity, even in the vision and the strategic plan that has been projected herein today and that we'll be launching. I want also to speak about the impact that LRF has had over the years, and I'm happy to especially speak about things that LRF has done over the years that have continued to impact the administration of justice. One of which is a very innovative study that was a criminal justice audit report that to date is still a live document. It has really innovated and changed policy around the criminal justice system, and just to speak to the authenticity of the research that is conducted by LRF. So I look forward to further partnerships and to further innovations, and to just buttress the fact that the work that you do as LRF is critical, and it's really we really applaud you from where we sit. Further to this, I'd want to really commend the work and the support given by LRF to the NCAJ committees. NCAJ is really hugely supported by LRF, and we continue to see the impact in CUCs, in the Criminal Justice Reforms Committee, in addressing matters SGBV, and of course the support to the Standing Committee on Children Matters. I also want to commend the work and that is continuing, and it's a building pillar around the work done by AJS. And Timothy, congratulations for steering this, of course under the leadership of Mr. Esau, but I know it has really done well over the years. Further to this, I am happy that currently, we are now looking at people-centered justice. The format around people-centered justice is something that we are embracing as the justice sector. It's something that is a strategy that is being embraced across the justice chain. Majority of the NCAJ actors are fully on board on the PCJ model. And even us at the NCAJ Secretariat, we are actually undertaking and developing our strategic plan. And I can tell you for a fact that the people-centered approach is something that is central to how we are working. So I'd want to finish and just speak to the fact that at NCAJ, our model is that we strengthen the justice chain. And we have a mantra: a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So I want to commend LRF for continuously supporting different justice actors, different agencies over the years. Your impact, your support has really been appreciated, and we continue to applaud you for launching this strategic plan, and we know that it will have impact. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Let's appreciate her once more. Thank you so much. So that closes that curtain. So at this particular point, I would like all of us to be upstanding. We've been sitting for quite some time. So there's a very simple exercise as we prepare to usher in our chief guest. Naomba tusimame tafadhali. So there's a very simple exercise. Ukiweka mkono juu, nikisema bado bado, mkono inakuwa juu hivi. Hebu tuseme bado bado, both your hands, raise them. Ukiweka juu hapa ni bado bado. Can we say bado bado? Nikiweka hapa ni bado. Bado. Ba. Bado bado. Bado. Ba. Si ni very clear? Sasa ona vile jirani ataka kulemewa sahi. Haya, let's get ready. Haya, bado bado. Bado bado. Bado. Ba. 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 Bado bado. Bado bado. Bado bado tumesema ni wapi? Ni juu. Tuko hapo. Bado bado. Ba. Ba. Ba ni hapa. Come on, let's be together. All right, bado bado. Bado bado. Bado. Ba. Ba. Bado bado. Bado bado. Ba. 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 All right, on that note, allow me now, we may be seated. So at this particular point, allow me to invite our board chair once again, Prof. I humbly request you to take over from here and then invite our chief guest. I think it's been a very, very wonderful opportunity to hear all these conversations. Karibu sana, Prof. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you very much, colleagues. And Sylvia, it's really nice to see you. Where is she? Oh, she stepped out. Yeah, I haven't seen her in a long time, so it was really nice to see her. Colleagues, now we are getting to the point at which we are just about to launch. But before we launch the strategic plan, it's really my privilege to invite my brother, William Kimanthi, who is our chief guest, to make his speech. And as he was introduced, you know that he is the chair of the board of the National Legal Aid Service, and really a comrade in this journey of legal service, legal aid, supporting our country and our people. So my brother, karibu sana, karibu sana.
Let's appreciate our guests in a better way. Right. Karibu sana bwana mwenyekiti. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Before I start, I have made some certain observations. It looks like if you want to succeed in civil society, you must incubate at LRF. I think I skipped that stage. I don't know whether you have a vacancy. I may need to go back there. That's issue number one. Number two, up to about 3 weeks ago, I had never met the MC of today. But then by certain coincidence, I have met him every single week since then. We met in Serena at some event. Did a very good job. And then the following week, we met in Muranga, Keno. Again, he was doing a very good job. And then we meet again today, so I begin to wonder, kwani huyu mtu ni nani? But thank you very much. What I can confirm is that it's very original because of all the small skits he has given us, I can tell you none of them has been repeated in those 3 events. So the guy is thorough. Allow me to introduce myself because I want to place context into my speech. And I want to give a caveat that it might be a bit long and verbose, but please, I've been looking for this chance to interact with the civil society. I've never seen such a big gathering of players in the civil society together. So please, mtanisamea kidogo leo, sindio? I was looking at my speech last night, and I have 2 teenage daughters. Of course, umekuwa juaji sana. And then I asked, what are you doing tomorrow? I showed them. They told me, Dad, that is too long. You'll be boring. I tried to cut it, but everything I was trying to cut was also very important. So you'll excuse me for today. Why? My name is Musyoki Kimanthi. I chair the board of the National Legal Aid Service. The National Legal Aid Service is a government agency that is responsible for providing legal aid to the marginalized, to the indigent, and to the vulnerable. Now, let's look at the mission of Legal Resources Foundation. I can read it very quickly for you: to enhance access to justice for the indigent, vulnerable, and marginalized communities by promoting an inclusive, effective, and efficient justice system, etc., etc. Now, if you go to internet quickly and look at the mission statement for the National Legal If you look at our law, the composition of the board is actually people from various players in the justice sector. Now, the government to draw people from various places, and one of them is a representative of the public benefit organizations, which basically is who we are here, isn't it? At the time, there was no representative from the public benefit organizations, and that was a point that was being hammered by the ambassador, saying, how can we trust you? The law is very clear. You're not working with, sort of suggesting that they will be willing to work with the civil society groups, because by excluding, then you look suspicious, isn't it? So I made it my mission to make sure that that requirement was fulfilled. The board is fully constituted, including members of the civil society, those who are, of course, in the justice, access to justice field. I looked for them. I mean, you can imagine now, if you tell somebody, go and look for PBOs, public benefit, where do you begin? Somehow, I found a sow. I don't know Likutana Wapi, but one thing I can assure you is that we've eaten almost all the fish in Nairobi, because he's always inviting me for lunch. We discuss issues. And in one of those meetings, I said, please come together, because we do not know. I mean, you are so many of you, yet we need only one representative. Come together and give us one person so that they can be gazetted to work as a representative of public benefit organizations with the National Legal Aid Service. They did, and very quickly, they gave us their best. The name of Dr. Annette Mbogo. She was then the ED for Kitocha Sheria. So she mentioned there that I was a boss, but I can assure you, of course, she had more experience in this sector than I was. I was very sad when she got better opportunities and she moved to IPOA, but I believe she's still continuing the same job that we are doing here. So thank you very much, Annette, for the short stint we work together, but I'm sure you still pray for us, and we are still getting on. Unfortunately, at the moment, after Annette left, we still do not have a representative. I had my board meeting yesterday, and they sent me, they said, tell them to bring another representative, na kuwe kama Annette Mbogo. So, so we are waiting for a representative, because we believe it can only be stronger if the whole thing is together, because you have very good ideas. One of the reasons I'm insisting on doing my long speech is because when I got invitation from Esau to come and speak to you today, I asked him what the occasion was, and he said, we are coming to launch our strategic plan. And I said, can I have a look at it in advance, because I need to have an idea what you're coming to talk about. He was gracious enough to send me a copy. I looked at that report and I said, if this thing succeeds, then we can as well close National Legal Aid Service and join you, because you are doing exactly you are going to be doing exactly what you're supposed to do. So basically, we are players in the same field. I'll be calling for partnerships, and that seeming sort of fight between the government and civil society, we should close that gap, because we are serving the same population, we are serving the same communities, and if we succeed, we all succeed. Yeah, if government succeeds, we succeed. If civil society succeeds, we all succeed. Allow me now to read my short speech. The chairperson of the Board of Trustees of the Legal Resources Foundation, Professor Kimani Njogu, the ED, Mr. Isao Riero, members of the Board of Trustees, representatives of government ministries, departments, and agencies, members of the legal profession and paralegal communities that are presented here, civil society organizations, community leaders, right holders, justice actors, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a great honor and privilege to join you this afternoon as we launch the Legal Resources Foundation Trust Strategic Plan 2026 to 2030. At the outset, I wish to thank the Board of Management of LRF for inviting me to share this important occasion with you. I commend the Foundation for taking the time to reflect on its experience, assess the changing justice environment, and deliberately chart a new course for the next 4 years. This is not simply the launch of another institutional document. I believe it is a renewal of a commitment to justice. It is a reaffirmation that the promise of justice must reach the person who cannot afford an advocate, the prisoner who does not understand the charge against him or her, the child in conflict with the law, the survivor of gender-based violence, the person living in a remote rural community, the person facing eviction or land injustice, and every person whose vulnerability makes it difficult to navigate the justice system. That commitment lies at the heart of both LRF's work and the mandate of the National Legal Aid Service. Today, we are also celebrating a legacy of justice. Legal Resources Foundation has a long and distinguished history. Since its establishment in 1993, LRF has worked to promote access to justice for vulnerable, indigent, and marginalized communities. Its contribution spans legal aid, paralegalism, prison justice, alternative justice systems, gender justice, climate, governance, human rights, and legal and policy reform. I believe this is an important legacy. The strategic plan recalls, for example, that in 2023, LRF reached more than 24,000 prisoners across multiple prisons, providing legal assistance and contributing to outcomes, including reasonable bond and bail terms, withdrawal of cases, lenient fines, and successful appeals. Such work reminds us of a fundamental truth. Justice is not merely about deciding cases. Justice is about changing people's lives. Now, this strategic plan comes at an important moment for Kenya. Our justice sector is changing rapidly. Technology is transforming how legal services can be delivered. Our communities are demanding a greater accountability. Young people are asserting their constitutional rights with renewed confidence. Yet, significant barriers remain, for example, poverty and inequality, legal illiteracy, geographical barriers, and institutional capacity. They constrain and continue to constrain and prevent many Kenyans from fully enjoying their rights. LRF's strategic review responds appropriately to this environment by emphasizing stronger grassroots interventions, policy influence, strategic partnerships, institutional capacity, and the responsible use of technology. Its vision is both simple and profound. As you can see there, a just and fair society. Now, the Legal Aid Act of 2016 was a major step towards giving practical effect to the constitutional promise. It established the National Legal Aid Service and provided a framework for legal aid, including recognition of the role of paralegals. I note that the LRF's strategic plan rightly identifies the need for closer collaboration among LRF, NLAS, the Paralegal Society of Kenya, and other civil society actors to professionalize and accredit paralegals and expand access to legal aid. And this is an area of enormous potential for partnership. Let us be candid, National Legal Aid Service, or indeed the government, cannot by itself close the justice gap in Kenya. The gap is too large and the needs of our people are too diverse. And we must therefore build a genuine ecosystem in which justice, state institutions, civil society organizations, lawyers, paralegals, communities, development partners, and other justice actors complement one another. We've also been told about the pillars. I've had a quick look through the pillars. I don't want to go through everything, but the first pillar of LRF, as you have seen, is enhanced access to justice, which perhaps is the most natural point of convergence between LRF and National Legal Aid Service. The plan proposes paralegal centers in prisons, police stations, courts, communities, and gender-based violence centers, digital paralegal clinics, targeted legal aid days, legal education, alternative justice systems, and stronger grassroots legal empowerment. Now, these interventions can help us move from a justice system that is merely available to one that is genuinely accessible. Now, this will require investment in community, legal education, stronger referral systems, support for paralegals, appropriate use of AJS, and responsible deployment of technology. Allow me to emphasize the role of paralegals. And this has set me up with the organization I belong to called the Law Society of Kenya. You've seen the lawyers, I'm sure that a lot of people here are lawyers, protest about inclusion of mediators in resolution of disputes. And they are saying that they are the only people who are trained to understand, isn't it? Have you seen the stories? But you'll also agree that not all disputes necessarily need to go to court, isn't it? Not all disputes render themselves to the nature of disputes as described in our legal system. Yet it doesn't make them any less of disputes. We have a lot of examples, isn't it? I always give the example of a case that we got in the office, I think at the time Annette was still there, where a lady was very agitated because she was complaining her man had been stolen by a best friend. And she comes to our office seeking legal aid. Now, as a lawyer, where do you begin? How do you frame a case like that? Which procedure do you adopt? What papers do you file in court? Do you file a plaint, a civil suit? Do you file a petition? Do you file originating summons? But does it make it any lesser of a grievance of this for this lady? She's aggrieved, isn't it? And that's why we are saying paralegals, because the whole idea about justice, perhaps we need to go back to what is justice? If we can have more cohesive society, and we are then the people, the paralegals coming in to bring people together, why not, isn't it? Do you have to go through lawyers? So allow me to emphasize on the role of paralegals. They may be the first person a vulnerable justice seeker encounters. A paralegal can explain rights, assist a prisoner to understand the justice process, connect a survivor of violence to the appropriate service, facilitate referral to a lawyer or justice institution, and help communities understand lawful avenues for resolving disputes. For these reasons, a competent, ethical, and properly regulated paralegal system should be regarded as a national access to justice priority. And I therefore welcome LRF's commitment to working with National Legal Aid Service, Paralegal Society of Kenya, and other stakeholders in developing the practical mechanisms for collaboration, accreditation, training, referral, and quality assurance. Our objective must be clear. No justice seeker should be denied assistance simply because he or she does not know where to begin. Your second pillar talked about administration of justice, right? Now, access to justice is not only about getting through the door. Once inside the justice system, the citizen must encounter a system that is fair, timely, accountable, humane, and responsive. LRF's plan correctly identifies interconnected challenges, including prolonged pretrial detention, case backlogs, inadequate documentation, prison congestion, human rights violations, policing accountability, and gaps in rehabilitation and reintegration. That is why the systems approach proposed by LRF is important. Engagement with the judiciary, prison administration, prosecution authorities and policymakers, strengthened court users committees, and support for justice sector reforms are essential to building a more responsive justice system. I think you've talked about AJS. I tried to go through the thing about AJS. I could have misread, but I expect that you come out stronger on AJS. But it could have been my misreading of the strategic plan. But again, I think you're making an effort, but let me say this. A people-centered justice system must recognize that not every dispute needs to travel the full distance of formal litigation. Where the law permits, appropriate alternative justice systems can provide accessible, timely, and culturally relevant mechanisms for resolving disputes, while also helping reduce pressure on the courts and contributing to decongestion. We commend you for your engagement with community leaders, religious leaders, women leaders, village administrative structures, mediators, and peace committees towards that goal. But again, also, as we expand AJS, we must remain firmly anchored in the Constitution, human rights, equality, dignity, and protection of vulnerable persons. We are fully aware that there are people who are now using AJS to escape justice, isn't it? So we are saying that alternative justice must not mean alternative rights. So let's promote AJS, but also we must not come up with alternative rights. It must mean appropriate, accessible, and constitutionally compliant justice. Again, also, we have a problem of technology. Again, I was trying to see when we were presenting on the strategic plan, technology and the future of legal aid. Digital paralegal services, virtual courts, e-filing, digital case management, and the exploration of AI and other digital tools have the potential to transform justice delivery. I believe that the future of legal aid will inevitably be digital. For those of us who are in practice, I'm still in active practice, I go to courts more or less every day. You'll agree that technology has really helped us a lot. I've been in practice since around 2002. And for at least 20 years, I had never imagined I would have to take cases in Mombasa or Kitale or wherever because of the distance. It required us to go to those courts physically. And because it was not possible, you confined yourself to within a certain geographical area. I can assure you that since COVID, one of the benefits of COVID was that it forced us into technology, isn't it? The courts had to be innovative because then how long are you going to wait for? And therefore, we went very quickly. And today, and I believe so many lawyers are doing that, I've had cases started, concluded, judgments given in Mombasa without setting foot there. Kitale, I've never been there. I have so many cases in Kitale, and Bungoma, and all over the place. And therefore, for those of us in legal aid field, please also let's see the place of technology. But again, also technology has the risk of also excluding a certain class of people, isn't it? What about the elderly? People with disabilities, or people in very remote areas who cannot even have the internet, or people with limited digital literacy, and those without reliable internet access. So it's a balancing thing. Let's use technology, but also let's not make it a tool of exclusion. So we are saying that digital where possible, human where necessary, and inclusive at all times. NLAS looks forward to engaging with LRF and other partners in exploring responsible technology that expands the reach, efficiency, and quality of legal aid. Another thing I've noticed, which I think it's also becoming a new area, and I think, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name, sir. Mr. Boniface? You talked about the emerging areas. You talked about the mining of Gilbert, yes. About the mining of gold in Rivayala, for example. Again, we're trying to adapt. The legal issues are also emerging, isn't it? Ordinarily, there are people who knew law as practices. Umekosa hivi unashikwa unapelekwa. And certain areas were not known to be legal issues. But there are emerging issues. Climate change, for example. It intersects, and I like the guy from Food and Agriculture Organization. He said climate change increasingly intersects with land and livelihoods, displacement and access to natural resources. Gender justice requires us to confront the particular barriers faced by women, girls, and vulnerable persons. Businesses one of the meetings I had with Boniface, where I saw him, was a whole business for-profit organization saying that we want to be involved in the justice sector. Because you've heard of the story of the blood diamonds, for example. The blood diamonds, what is the story of the blood diamonds? Where you are selling diamonds extracted from the sweat of people who do not even know the value of. Isn't there a right issue there? Or the story of cocoa in Ghana, where people harvest cocoa, but they've never tasted chocolate in their lives. You understand? So we have one of the big the businesses in Kenya coming back to us and saying, we want to promote the issue of human rights. We want to be seen to be compliant. We do not want to be seen to just be extracting. And, you know, so businesses and human rights require accountability and responsible conduct. Security sector reforms requires us to insist that security and human rights are complementary, not competing objectives. Access to justice is connected to almost every dimension of human dignity. Your last pillar, you talked about strong institutions and sustainable justice. This may appear less visible, but it is indispensable. Good intentions cannot substitute for strong institutions. And I think that's where most of these organizations go wrong, isn't it? You come up with very romantic strategic plans, but because of lack of strong institutions, then they don't survive for long, isn't it? Or you start hearing descriptions like, characterizations like briefcase this, briefcase that, because of that lack of strong institutions. I think your plan appropriately recognizes the importance of human resource capacity, governance, knowledge management, ICT, financial systems, resource mobilization, and diversified partnerships. The plan, we have seen, it requires an estimate of 991 million, close to $1 billion shillings over the next 5 years, underscoring the scale of resources necessary to implement its ambitions. Now, we've all agreed that LRF are doing a good job, isn't it? And I think that's why we're here. I've also heard about development partners. Siwagwapa, I beg them on your behalf. Allow me to say this. I call upon development partners, government agencies, the private sector, the legal profession, and all friends of justice to continue investing in institutions such as LRF that have demonstrated commitment to capacity to deliver. But then we are saying that sustainability must be accompanied by strong governance, accountability, prudent financial management, measurable results, and demonstrable impact. Now, we need to move from strategic plan to strategic action. Ladies and gentlemen, a strategic plan is ultimately judged not by the quality of its language, but by the quality of its implementation. I was in a meeting yesterday where we were talking of a strategic plan, which, you know, is 2023 to 2028. But we are yet to launch, not me, they are yet to launch. And we are moving to 2027. LRF has undertaken a commendable consultative process involving its board, staff, donors, partners, rights holders, and duty bearers. That ownership is important, but today must mark the beginning and not the end of the process. We must now ask, what will be different for the justice seeker in 2027? What will be different for the prisoner in 2028? What will be different for the rural community in 2029? And by 2030, how will we demonstrate that Kenya is closer to the just and fair society that this plan envisions? The plan's emphasis on measurable indicators is therefore welcome. We must increasingly move from counting activities to demonstrating impact. Not simply how many people were trained, but how many people were empowered. Not simply how many cases were handled, but how many lives were changed. Not how many meetings were held, like this one, but what changed because that meeting was held. Not how many policies were proposed, but how many reforms were actually adopted and implemented because of the policies you advanced. And that is how we are going to measure the success of this strategic plan. Now, I'm the chair of the National Legal Aid Service. Allow me to make a very clear commitment. National Legal Aid Service stands ready to strengthen its partnership with the Legal Resources Foundation Trust. There are many areas in which our institutions, thank you. There are many areas in which our institutions can work together, expanding legal aid to undeserved communities, strengthening and professionalizing paralegal services, improving legal awareness and empowerment, supporting alternative justice systems, addressing prison congestion and access to justice for persons deprived of legal policy and legal reform, etc. There are so many areas you can, but partnerships must go beyond statements. It must translate into joint programs. It's how, remember, I chased you in Mombasa 2 weeks ago. I got you again today in front of your board. We must translate this into joint programs, clear responsibilities, shared learning, data-driven interventions, and measurable outcomes. I encourage LRF and LRS to not to see each other as simply a stakeholder, but as a strategic partner in realizing the access to justice. And I equally encourage LRS to see organizations such as LRF not merely as implementing partners, but as critical actors in strengthening Kenya's national legal aid ecosystem. I started by saying how when you go to the donors, they ask you, are you government, are you? No, please, I'm trying to say we are working for the same legal aid ecosystem. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the LRF Strategic Plan 2026-2030 is ambitious, but it is also necessary. It recognizes that Kenya's justice challenges are complex and that solutions require innovation, partnerships, community participation, institutional reform, and sustained investment. But most importantly, it keeps the vulnerable and marginalized justice seeker at the center, and that is where justice must begin. Let us build a justice system in which the citizen is not merely a recipient of justice, but a participant in it. Let us build institutions that listen, that respond, that are accountable, that embrace technology without abandoning humanity. Institutions that understand that the ultimate measure of development of this strategic plan. I wish you every success in its implementation. The National Legal Aid Service looks forward to walking this journey with you. And with those remarks, I'm very honored to have joined you this afternoon in launching the Legal Resources Foundation Strategic Plan 2026-2030. Thank you. May God bless you. Thank you. May God bless Legal Resources Foundation Trust. May God bless the National Legal Aid Service. And may God bless the Republic of Kenya. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Very powerful. Let's appreciate our chair in a very powerful way. Thank you so much, Senior. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to appreciate him in a musical way. All the ladies, when we'll be clapping, ta, 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 thank you. That is soprano. And then the gentleman, very much. Let's try that. It goes like this. Ta, 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 thank you. Ta, very much. So, wanaume msiniangushe as usual. So, ladies, just soprano, and then the gentleman, the bass. See, the statement may go very powerful. We are taking a lot with us home. So let's begin the trials. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So our chief guest right about now, we want to go to the climax of our session today. But before that, with your permission, I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Dickson Mwakazi, who also is the Assistant Commissioner General of Kenya Prison Services. And he's also the Director for Legal Services. Mr. Mwakazi, please be outstanding. We just recognize your presence. Let's appreciate Commissioner. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are delighted to have you here. So right about now, we want to move and focus on the official launch, the reason why we are here today. I want to invite the following, our chief guest, with your permission. I will request your presence here. I will request the presence of our board chair. I will request the presence of our CEO, Mr. Sau. I request the presence of LRF and Haki board. I need your presence here. I need the presence of the AG's representative, Mr. Naman. And I will need the presence of Diaconia representative. And then finally, Open Society. I humbly request your presence here so that we can officially launch this, beginning with our chief guest, our board chair, Professor Kimani, our CEO, Mr. Isau. I need your presence here. Board members of LRF and Haki, Mr. Naman, who is representing our AG, a Diaconia representative.
Maybe the speaker as well.
Yes, and all the speakers today join us as well. All the speakers who are here. So we'll gather around. We can balance the others on this side. Yes. All the speakers, I invite all of you. Sir George Fao, we need all of you here. Yeah. Perfect. So let's balance it. All right. Colleagues from LRF, please ensure the documents are ready, so that when you're officially launching this, our chief guest, supported by our board chair, officially, the instructions are very simple. You'll simply, the two of you jointly, you'll press this button, and then we are live. What I didn't mention, this event is so special. We are live on CNN and all international channels, just in case you didn't know. All right. All right, so we are getting ready to our countdown. We begin from 5, then we go all the way up to 0. They press that, and then we are on. And like our chief guest has reminded us, it is not the launch. It's not the strategic plan launch. Yeah, but what is going to matter is the strategic actions that are going to come after this launch. Mr. Mokazi, kindly, we need you to be here as well. Yeah. Thank you so much. So now we are getting, you can go the other side to balance. Yes, to balance the other side. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to get ready. We begin our countdown from 5. Okay, let us go together. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action! Wow. A new journey begins right now. A new journey has begun. There is no turning back until justice is served for each and every vulnerable member of our society. Wow, what a defining moment. It is good to be here. It is good to be here. Thank you so much. So I will request at least all of us who are here to get a copy of our strategic plan as we pose for a group photo very quickly. We are marking a very significant milestone. Yes, Madam Rose, who was very crucial in birthing this document, we need you here. You cooked this meal, now you need to serve it. Thank you so much, thank you so much. Nisaidie.
Tumeona mkono wake Bwana. Ni mazuri tumeona, Mungu umetenda. Neno tulatosha.
Makofi, let's be outstanding, let's be outstanding. Hey.
Yote waombayo hakuna wa kulipinga, hakika wewe ni Mungu. Na vitumo makuu umeyatenda.
Mr. DJ, thank you so much. At this particular point in time, we will pause for group photos. We're just concluding. I don't want to keep here longer. In the next 10 minutes, we'll be done. So now we'll have group photos. Now that officially we have launched this document, now the action begins immediately. So at this particular point, our chief guest, allow me to have the group photo session. I will start with the board chair together with the chief guest, the two of you together. The others, Musiku and Bali. The photography team, kindly guide me on how to go about this. Where do you want them to be? Right there. All right. So the chair board and our chief guest and the board chair. Our chief guest, our LRF board and the CEO get ready. Our CEO, Mr. Esau, and the board members, be ready here. I need you here. All the board members of LRF, please be here. All right, join them kindly. LRF board and the CEO, kindly join them. Kindly join them. I need the banners to be started. Yes, thank you for that. You can put it on the other end. Put it.
Somali, now I'm Congo, Rwanda, now I'm Uganda.
All right.
Nigeria, Liberia,
Mr. DJ, now I need all the LRF, just maintain the same position. All our partners who are here today, kindly join them. All of us. The partners who are here, please join us. Join us in marking this significant moment. All of us are partners. That's why you are here today. Please join them. All the partners, Joshua, I need you here. And Commissioner Arnett, Sylvia, everybody. Everybody needs to fit in. This is a historic moment. Please, we need you here. Please, we need all our partners here. Please be part of this defining moment. So, so that we have more space. All right, let's fit in. Let's fit in. Mr. DJ, punguza kidogo tu. Let's all fit in there. Itebo tenda. All right. Someone is not smiling. This is a serious moment. All right. Hey. Okay. Are we good? All right. All right. This is a wonderful moment. Be happy. Be happy. We want to see the smiles. This is going to be the photo of the year in Time Magazine 2026. Time Magazine. All right. Meanwhile, LRF staff, get ready to join them as well. LRF staff. LRF staff, tafadhali. Everyone from LRF, please join the photo now. That's the final photo. Wimbo inaendelea. Mukienda endeni na wimbo jamani. Endeni na wimbo. Endeni na wimbo. Lucy, good to see you. Good to see you. Haya, tuchangamke, tuchangamke. Yo, okay. Haya, twendeni jamani, twendeni. Twendeni upesi upesi. Wengine wanaweza keti hapo mbele. We have a nice rug, others can sit on the front here. Wengine wanaweza keti hapa mbele. Yes. Just be free. Just sit hapa mbele. Hii nguo ni ya Sunday. Hey, hapo. We are depending on you in this strategic plan. All right, attention, attention. Confirm you can see my hand. All right, so we are here. This is a defining moment. To imagine it's a wonderful time to be alive. All right, so hold the document nicely. Hold the document nicely, what we are launching today. And finally, Mr. DJ, we are being reminded that lunch is served on the 3rd floor, Acacia Restaurant. Pick your meal cards at the exit door. Please remember that. And then we also have 4 o'clock tea, which means you still need to hang around until 4 p.m. Okay. All right. So lunch is served on the 3rd floor, Acacia Restaurant. Pick your meal cards at the exit door. 4 o'clock tea is available, which means we still have time to interact, to engage, and get to know everybody who is here. While you're still in the same position, allow me, our chief guest, to invite Daktari to give us a vote of thanks. Just maintain the same position. Daktari, Dr. Njiko, karibu sana. You can speak from where you are. Just maintain the same position. Okay. All right. They want to see you.
All protocols observed. I think it's been such a beautiful event. The knowledge, wisdom, and passion for Haki Tawala is palpable. And I think as LRF, we're so happy to know we're in the right place with the right partners. So allow me to just quickly do the vote of thanks. So as we conclude this exciting launch, it is my absolute privilege to deliver a vote of thanks on behalf of LRF. To our keynote speaker, Mr. William Kimanthi, we extend our deepest gratitude for sharing the positive and encouraging sentiments on our new strategic roadmap. Your words of wisdom have given us the inspiration needed to turn our ambitious goals into reality. Your presence has added great significance to this milestone, and we deeply appreciate your support and insights. To our leadership, we appreciate our committed and supportive Board of Trustee members under the leadership of Professor Kimani Njogu for your visionary guidance, oversight, and support to the LRF management and staff. Today we had lots of speakers, and we thank each of you for the insights and the commitment you have shown towards our strategic plan. We have lots of partners and stakeholders. I had been given a very long list, but I think in the interest of time, I think we've all heard from each other. Please feel very appreciated. Thank you for your continued trust, collaboration, and valuable feedback on the contribution of our work in the justice sector and in changing the lives of the people we serve. Your partnership remains vital as we step into this next chapter of growth and service to the people who need justice the most. To our LRF alumni, we also want to thank you who found time to join us here today. Ms. Sylvia Koke, Ms. Irene Maina, and others, thank you very much for your continued support. To the consultants who helped us develop this strategic plan, Ms. Rose Wanjiro and your team, we thank you. We appreciate your time, expertise, and insights towards shaping this strategic plan. And for everybody who's here, thank you for making it so colorful, so meaningful, and just giving us that power and fire to keep going, right? So to our boots on the ground, that is the LRF management and staff under SAO's leadership, a strategic plan of this magnitude does not build itself. Thank you to the core planning team, our department heads, and everyone who worked behind the scenes over the past months to shape this document and very successfully pull off today's launch event seamlessly. We really do appreciate everything that has gone into doing this today. To Mr. Boniface Lawanda, our MC for the day, we sincerely thank you for making it such a fun and it's been very memorable. And to hear the commendation from our chief guests that you're really good at what you do, we've joined that group of cheerleaders. Thank you very much. To the media, thank you for the live coverage and the media work that you've always done to document LRF's milestones. So today marks not the end of the planning process, but the beginning of our shared responsibility to translate this strategic plan into action and measurable impact. We look forward to your continued partnership, all of us who are here, as we work together to bring its vision to life. Thank you all for being part of this important milestone, and may you have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you.
Wow, wow. Let's appreciate her once again. So turn to your neighbor right now and tell them thank you so much for coming. Yeah, msalimia jirani mwambie thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Daktari. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So lunch is served on the third floor. Make sure you have a meal card. Meanwhile, talk to someone. Talk to someone.
Neno lako neno lako Bwana nieleze kile kilichokufanya ukaja hapa wakati ule. Na viumbe nieleze kile kilichokufanya ukaja hapa wakati ule. Yote ya mbinguni hukuyaona kitu, ukajaishi na viumbe. Unie kwa sauti ya upole, akili wewe rudia rudia kama vile mwanzo. Neno lako walipokusulubisha pale msalabani, hakuna aliye kusaidia, ukafa wafa kifo cha uchungu na aibu. Wana nimekuja kusema asante. Nimekuja kusema asante. Asante kwa wema wako na fadhili zako Baba. Sema mimi nimekuja kusema Baba potenista, nikuimbie Bwana, nimbe na saburi, nikuimbie Baba, nimbe na saburi. Wenye nguvu za giza katikati nilikatiza, wakavunja maigizo ili kunikamilisha. Akanifanya nuru, sina minyororo walinitua, wanaonitatanisha kwenye safina yako, nitakata siti ya mbele na mimi nimeridhika, maana nimetiba.
Ladies and gentlemen, attention. As we go to lunch, feel free to just leave your stuff inside here. You enjoy lunch and then you come back. Everything will be safe. I've been assured of that. I've been assured of that. So leave your stuff on your desk. You come back after lunch, and then remember there's still 4 o'clock tea. 4 o'clock tea.
Exactly.